Some are calling it the employee burnout epidemic. A new survey by Watson Towers Willis, exclusive to CNBC, found that 87% of employers said that stress and burnout are issues for their workforce. And 78% cited mental and behavioral health as the main focus to improve workers' health over the next 3 years. Sharon Epperson takes a look at how one corporate executive has dealt with his own mental health struggles and now is helping lead his company's efforts to address wellness.
I was having a really hard time at work, and I went to my HR at that time, and what I was told to do is to go home and take a nap.
That past experience shaped how James Nicholas Kinney now copes with anxiety.
The first thing I do, wake up in the morning, I give thanks, and then I meditate.
A global C-suite exec at the advertising company Ogilvy, Kinney has been open about his challenges.
How important is it to have someone in your role be able to talk about the importance of mental health and mental well-being?
Workplaces tend to reward overworking and the strength of being tough. But now we know sharing your experience with mental health, that's actually what we consider now to be tough, right? So it's okay to not be okay.
Overworked and overwhelmed, burnout is one of the leading mental health issues among workers today, experts say.
Burnout is someone who wants to do a good job, is capable of doing a good job, but there's a system that prevents them from doing it, and then they get exhausted. Then they give up.
A recent survey of 1,000 full-time workers found 89% said they'd experienced burnout over the past year. And 70% said they would leave their current job for another, offering better resources to reduce feelings of burnout. Workers also may not be aware or don't understand how to use benefits their employer provides.
What is the issue with trying to access mental health programs when you're already feeling burnt out?
When people feel overwhelmed, they just don't know how to take that first step forward. But it's really worthwhile to put the energy in and figure out how the programs can support you.
Slow down our breathing.
Kinney, who shares his experience in his podcast, says it is also important for employers to have a holistic approach to wellness.
We tell people on your first day at work that mental health and your mental well-being is part of what we consider this journey, right? So we don't make it something that's separate.
HR and benefits expert Jen Benz says since the pandemic, more C-suite leaders are talking about mental health and wellness, helping to remove the stigma and create a culture that supports employees' overall well-being. Becky.
You know, Sharon, we keep hearing about this great resignation movement that we've seen where employees are quitting their jobs, kind of moving on. How much does burnout play a factor in terms of that? And how expensive is it for companies to have to replace all these employees when they leave?
You know, experts we talk to say that burnout is definitely a contributing factor to the great resignation, Becky, and having workers quit because of stress and burnout is very costly. There was a new survey out this week by Workhuman that found nearly 4 in 10 workers plan to look for a new job in the next 12 months. And if you consider the cost of replacing an employee can be up to twice their salary, an organization that has, say, 100 employees with an average salary of $50,000, they could see the great resignation cost them up to $4 million this year. And that doesn't even account for the intellectual capital and the knowledge that just walks out the door when someone leaves the building.
Wow.
Or their laptop.